You got one? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Some noise! One more time, they can't hear you. Let's make some noise! Go, Rock! Go, Rock! Go, Rock! Go!
Live from the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Welcome to the National Lacrosse League Week 5 as the Toronto Rock get ready to host the Rochester Knighthawks. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan in a classic East Division rivalry battle. And Shanny, this is a completely different Rochester Knighthawks club than the Rock saw in Week 1 where Toronto thumped them 12-5. They got 3 big names back tonight.
Yeah, and a completely different Rochester team than they had last week. Cody Jamieson is back. That was startling to everybody. Dan Dawson is back. His wife just had twins.
And congratulations to the
congratulations
Dawson family.
to Dan. 3 boys in the family now.
Wow.
And Andrew Suter has come back as well, the leader on defense. So those are 3 big names to be added to the lineup. We can assume they're all healthy, ready to go. I'm shocked, as I said.
Yeah, me too.
Jamieson, he had knee problems in the summer. We thought he'd be out for the whole season, but that's a big addition if he's healthy. And that changes everything. It's a totally different team.
Here's what's interesting to me about this Rochester team. You had rookies leading the way and looking quite impressive, even though the team's 1-2. You had Kyle Jackson, Josh Courier, Dan Lomas putting out very impressive numbers and playing beyond their years. Like Kyle Jackson and Courier especially leading the team in points, number 1-2. So now you're able to shield them a little bit by bringing those veterans back, but they've had big game experience already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, last week was a tough loss in Saskatchewan, but I think it didn't matter what lineup was in there for Rochester. Going into Saskatchewan, banner-raising night after Saskatchewan had lost their first 2 games, you knew Saskatchewan was going to be back to their game last week, so I don't think it would have made a difference. But you're right, that second game they played in New England, they were led by the rookies.
They were.
And, you know, the guys that you mentioned, guys like, you know, Kyle Jackson, Dan Lomas, a Courier, those guys all played great. And they, much like the Toronto Rock, they need a lot of new faces to contribute to be successful. A lot of these teams are getting older, they're turning the page a bit, and they need some new faces.
And just like the Knighthawks, the Rock are getting some people back as well. Brett Hickey returns from a lower body injury, as does Stephen LeBlanc. You have Dan Littner was eligible. He is going to be a scratch tonight. So the Rock get a little bit of veteran leadership back. They send to the practice roster earlier this week Phil Caputo and Reed Reinhold, who looked very good in their win over Saskatchewan. So both these clubs have youth that are contributing now, but also some waiting in the wings.
Yeah, you know, it's remarkable that Toronto was able to beat Saskatchewan a couple of weeks ago without Hickey and LeBlanc in the lineup. In fact, I think we mentioned during the telecast that they only had 2 guys on their offense playing that game from last year.
Right.
So it was remarkable. And you know, Caputo and Reinhold, have gone down the practice roster, but they deserve a big pat on the back for contributing last week. Each of them scored. In fact, Reinhold scored a huge goal, late in the game just to give the Rock a bit of a cushion.
And you talk about rookies. Tom Schreiber, a rookie in the box team to the NLL, but a star in field lacrosse. And the way he's been able to come in, we saw at times you bring in field players and it doesn't always work, but the Rock have done it so well. You're sprinkling a bit of field talent at the highest level, and Tom Schreiber leading the team in assists. And boy, he looks like he's been playing this game all his life.
I've really been impressed with his play so far. And McCardle as well, Kieran McCardle.
Yeah.
In fact, last week,
very good.
At times I thought he looked overwhelmed. He made a mistake that led to a big goal for Saskatchewan on their run, and then he came back and scored an absolutely huge goal for Toronto to give them back the 2-goal lead, just as it was looking like Saskatchewan was going to complete the comeback. So I was very impressed with that.
And we will now turn it over for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Here we go. Rochester Knighthawks, Toronto Rock. The national anthems are in the books. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan with you from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. Very important game for both clubs. You have the Georgia Swarm and the Toronto Rock, both undefeated, the only two undefeated clubs left in the NLL. For the Knighthawks 1-2, they're up on the still winless New England Black Wolves and tied with the Bandits at a 1-2 record. So, Shandy, we're starting to see in Week 5, still very early in the season, but you're getting into tiebreaker situations. If the Rock win tonight, they take the season series.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a huge, huge game for them just because of that, you know. We talked about Saskatchewan, how they got off to a tough start, losing their first two games, but they were playing against teams in the East.
Right.
It really doesn't matter in the standings, or potentially doesn't matter. But every time you're playing a game against a team in your own division, it's doubly important because we know how tight it can be at the end of the season where the tiebreakers make the difference.
Starting goaltenders tonight for the Toronto Rock, the red hot Nick Rose, and for the Rochester Knighthawks, the wily veteran Matt Vince. And Nick Rose, Shanny, has been playing next level. We've seen him really grow as a pro, right? A backup to kind of a tweener 1-2 to really taking over partway through last year and into this year as the undisputed starter.
Yeah, you know, I thought it started last year and it's just continued this year. He's really become one of the best goalies in the NLL, and I think, you know, they need that to have success in this league. They need good goaltending.
Toronto Rock in their blue, red, and white uniforms. The Knighthawks, white, teal, and purple. Rock win the faceoff. And Bradley Cree, what a start of the season he's had at faceoffs, winning 67.5% of faceoffs right there. So that nice little extra tool to try to get that first possession, which the Rock had, but then gave it right back. And we see number 88, Cody Jamieson, back on the floor. Still very surprising with that knee, that ACL. He is back and is on the right wing. He receives it right there. Jamieson at the line. We'll see how the conditioning comes up. Went for a bouncer, trickles through, and I think, yes, that did. That just got by Nick Rose. And the Knighthawks are on the board first.
Well, we're going to see a replay in a second to see if that ball went all the way over the line, but you know the Toronto Rock coaching staff will be watching and determining whether they want to throw the flag or not.
Jesse Gamble is right there.
Oh, here's a great angle. That's hard to
that's
tell.
Close. And for our viewers, the ball has to fully cross
just
the line.
like hockey, it has to fully cross the line. And I don't think the Rock is going to throw the flag.
That was really close.
Although it looks like Matt Sawyer has his hand in his pocket.
That's tight. That might be worth a look.
Well, I tell you, it's tough seeing it in real time because that ball goes so fast.
Right. Dylan Evans on the other side of the face-off circle for the Knighthawks. That's 48.5% in face-off draws. However, we have to remember the Rock have played the fewest games in the NLL so far this season at 2. They've had 2 bye weeks in the first 4 weeks of the season. Toronto brings it over. There's Sandy Chapman. Loses the ball. Loose ball scramble here. Picks up the grounder on that left wing. Knocked free. Corrals it in off the boards. Sandy Chapman, one-man show here. Oh, slips through, turns invisible. Chapman now with some space as the ball knocked free. Tiptoeing on that crease. And Matt Vince squeezes those pads together. Wait a minute, there's Brett Hickey. Fresh 30 for Toronto.
Good second effort by Hickey to get that ball. And some good defense by Rochester to hit Chapman's stick as he's going to the net.
Tom Schreiber pulls it in. He's been an assist machine. Went right on. And Vince with a great stop. Rochester possession here. We see Brett Hickey. Remember, he was a 50-goal scorer in this league, and he's suffered some injuries after that last couple of years. We'll see if he can get back on track there. Jamieson receives on the right wing. Jamieson trying to center up. One for the quick pass. Scores! Wow! Cody Jamieson thread the needle right on the crease line to the right of Nick Rose, and it is 2-0 Rochester.
Well, Jamison's already had an impact. 2 assists. This one's the nicer one for sure as he finds young Josh Courier on the crease. I'll tell you, it's amazing how a guy like Jamieson could be inserted in the lineup and make such a difference.
Just
he
like
is the
that.
quarterback of this team.
Just like that.
And we haven't even mentioned Dawson yet.
Well, that's right. The 6'5", 210-pound veteran, Dan Dawson. He's back. And you couple in the rookies, right? Kyle Jackson and Josh Courier, who just scored that goal, have been fantastic. And the officials congregating, chatting about something here. Maybe something with the clock. But Cody Jamieson, Shanny, my goodness. Like, he's right there. And again, we won't know the conditioning till he comes back. But I would assume if he's back on the floor, the knee has to be at least good enough to not risk further injury. He's right back to, it looks like he hasn't missed a beat.
Well, you know, last summer, he was hobbling on one leg playing for the Six Nations Chiefs as they won a Mann Cup. And their record with and without him in the lineup was so different. It seemed like they could not lose with him in the lineup. They came back against a tough Peterborough team for the right to go to the Mann Cup, and it was miraculous that he was even playing. So that's why I thought there'd be no chance he'd be playing this year.
No. And they're just confirming the goal scorer there, yes. So Courier from Jamieson, as we expected there. And Shanny, what we see too, so the rookies, as we said, played very well as the Rochester Knighthawks went 1-2. But when you get veterans back like Jamieson, like Dawson, like Suter, everybody's able to kind of slide back into their comfort level in the proper pecking order, right? Like you don't have to stretch yourself.
No, you're absolutely right. And there's also a comfort level with the guys who've been there and who've won it.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
Yeah. You know, Jamieson and Dawson are winners. They've won championships at every level. And I think that inspires their teammates, that, you know, just that feeling that, you know, won before, you're going to win again.
And they announced in the Air Canada Centre that they're having some technical difficulties. That might be to the advantage of the Toronto Rock here, trying to stop the hot start as there's still 13:29 left in the opening quarter. Killing the momentum for the visitors would be a good thing, as the Rock. Well, I don't know if I put any of those goals necessarily on Nick Rose, but you just see what Cody Jamieson means to this team, and for the Rock, they gotta get more bodies, I think, to start in front of Matt Vince.
Yeah, that first goal was a bit of a bad bounce
that
squeezed in, but that last goal, there's no way Rose is stopping it. You know, that's a defender's job to close off that lane.
And we look at the special teams. This is interesting coming into this game. Special teams for both clubs. On the power play, Rochester and Toronto ranked 8th and 9th. So second last and last in the NLL and power play efficiency. And then right in the middle of the pack, 5th and 6th when it comes to effectiveness on the penalty kill.
It's so early in the year, though. Like Toronto statistically, it's 22%, which
only
is
2 games, though.
It's terrible. But, yeah, and it's also only 2 goals on 9 opportunities. That would jump up. If they score in the next power play, it jumps up to 30%.
Right,
you know?
right.
So this early in the season, those numbers can fluctuate wildly, and one good game can change them dramatically. But if you look at a team like Colorado's already got 12 power play goals. Vancouver's got 15 power play goals, compared to Toronto's 2. But these teams have played more games.
Right. So they are trying to sort those things out here at the Air Canada Centre, whatever those technical difficulties might be. 2 shots apiece as Josh Courier put the Knighthawks up 2-0. So Stefan LeBlanc, we mentioned some Rocks players returning to the lineup. Stefan LeBlanc back in. He needs 2 assists to have 300 in his career. And Tom Schreiber, as I said, leads the Rock in assists. So for Stefan LeBlanc coming back, Shannon, we've really seen you chat about having people slide back in with the Knighthawks to make everybody fit better. With Stefan LeBlanc, he's such a steady force. And he has the ability to turn up that physicality, which is important.
You're absolutely right. He's like your powered forward in lacrosse.
That's a great,
He can drive hard to the net. He's got a great outside shot. He can make the big hits. He's definitely an important part of this Toronto Rock team. But so is Brett Hickey. Brett Hickey's, a similar player, and Hickey's got a fantastic outside shot.
We'll say, too, the NLL would like to welcome Sports Interaction as an official partner in Canada for the 2017 season. Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. I know for Sports Interaction, you can bet on all sorts of sports. Lacrosse, Super Bowl coming up, of course. Those prop bets are always lots of fun. As the teams try to stay loose. Now, Shanny, when you're a player being on the floor, you get all warmed up, right? The juices are going, and then you have a stoppage for whatever reason. What does this do now? Because there's the physical standpoint where you don't want to become tight and stay loose, but also mentally you were so engaged, and now you have to stop it.
Well, I'd say it's better now than halfway through, later on in the game,
Okay.
because it's still early enough that you can reset. And I think that's what you mentioned earlier. It might be advantageous for the Toronto Rock because they're the team that needs to reset.
Yeah.
So I am sure the coaching staff will say, okay, let's forget those first 2 minutes and start all over here and play our game. Not that they've played bad, a couple of scoring chances, and we know how lacrosse can go.
Well, sure. We saw the last game the Rock played in this building. They were in full control of the Saskatchewan Rush, and the game ended 13-11, and Saskatchewan came right back.
Yeah, Toronto was up 10-2 at one point in that game, and late in the game, it became a 1-goal game.
So the Rock in their last outing, as we said, 13-11 over Saskatchewan. For the Knighthawks, also versus the Rush, lost 16-8. And as you said, Shanny, that's more just going of, well, you got dealt a bad hand if you're the Knighthawks.
Right. And it's funny because we were talking about after the Toronto's win a couple of weeks ago, we're talking about what's going on with the Saskatchewan. I said, don't worry about them.
Nope.
Suddenly they're 2-2 and have looked as good as ever in their last 2 wins. They won again last night against Vancouver, so I don't think anybody will be crying over the Saskatchewan Rush.
No. The Rush,
and as I said earlier, because they have not lost a game to a Western team either. So
and that's, if you're going to work out any kinks, that was the time to do it against Eastern clubs. So now the Rush just have this feel to me that they're going to go on a run.
Yeah, I think so too. And they did the same 2 years ago, their first championship season when they were in Edmonton. They lost the first 2 games of the season and didn't look good at all. And they came back and went on a roll, and they were exactly where we thought they'd be at the end of the season.
Right, and turned it around. So as you said, the Rush over the Stealth 16-12. That improves Saskatchewan to 2-2. It has the Stealth fall to 2-3 after their 2-0 start. So the Stealth kind of shocked people right out of the gate. Vancouver, another tough outing. So they have back-to-back games.
And you see who Vancouver's playing later tonight?
Georgia.
Oh,
baby.
Georgia.
That's in Vancouver. But
the hottest team in the league right now. And that's a huge game for Vancouver. I really, if they were to lose that, it would be 4 losses in a row.
Just like that, right? And then it completely erases any goodwill from that 2-0 start.
Yeah, and you know, they shocked people with their 2-0 start. They won their first 2 games on the road in Calgary and Colorado. Back-to-back nights playing against a rested Colorado team. So that was very impressive, but they got it tough. Tough game tonight. If they can win that, it'll be huge for them.
And Georgia, the other undefeated team along with Toronto in the league, both sit atop the East Division. The Swarm in the 3 games, 50 goals for, 33 against. Second most goals scored to Vancouver. Funny enough, Vancouver has 2 more goals, scored actually more than that now because they played last night. But the Stealth can score, but you look at the goals against, and that's where it really comes in. Before last night, 55 against, and the Swarm just 33. They are peppering teams.
The Stealth has had a hard time stopping the transition opportunities. Buffalo scored about 10 transition goals against them last week. But, yeah, the Swarm, on the other hand, I think they have looked so good. They've got so much great young talent on offense.
Oh, man.
They're very well coached. Lyle Thompson is a superstar, and I don't think he's hit his peak yet. But it looks like he's scoring about 6 or 7 points a game. And, you know, I think he's getting over a tentativeness that was probably in his game last year as a rookie.
So you have Georgia there. Other games tonight, which you can catch on NLLTV.com. What's going on right now? Buffalo in New England to take on the Black Wolves. Colorado faces Calgary. And what I think is a fascinating rematch from last week. Those 2 teams so evenly matched. Like that one's, I think, again, Shanny, going to be a 1 or 2 goal game. Like they're so close.
Yeah, you know what? Every time Calgary and Colorado play each other, it's a pick'em game. I don't remember the last time you could say that one team was heavily favored over the other. And even if one team's off to playing great and the other one isn't, when they play each other throughout any history, they just play a great game all the time. I think the interesting one will be the one Buffalo and New England, because New England is desperate. They're 0-3 to start the season. They haven't played at home yet. This is their first home game.
That's right.
So this is a hugely important game for New England, and it is for Buffalo too, because until they got their first win last week, we were saying what's happening to Buffalo.
They're right there. Yeah. And NLL.com's own Mia Gordon is in New England for that game to check out the home opener for the Black Wolves. But for the Black Wolves, though, Shane, like this was a team coming in with the additions they made in the offseason. We're seen to be somebody, and there's still time, of course, but to be contending for the East Division. Like they had built themselves up. They have names on the back end. They made some defensive additions. And that 0-3 start, they've just not hit their stride at all on offense.
No, offensively they haven't done much yet. Sean Evans leads the team in scoring. He's only got a couple of goals, but he's still got about 13 points in those 3 games. He's got quite a few assists, but they have not looked dangerous at all. And it must hurt them. They traded Jordan Hall to Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, they got a boatload of draft picks for it, but Jordan Hall had 3 goals, 4 assists in the Georgia victory over New England last week. So the early returns go to Georgia on that trade, to Georgia on that trade. Not to say that those draft picks, a couple of years, they might be saying what a great trade it was, but it's got to hurt right now.
Well, you have that great story, Shanny, about how the Rush, well, as we're going to get into that, the game's going to get going, so we'll save that, how the Rush really built their franchise in this championship run through the draft with a specific trade a few years ago.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to that story a little bit later on. 2-0, Knighthawks up. Whatever technical difficulty it was here at the ACC has been fixed.
I think it was something to do with the lights, because they appeared to be going on and off.
That is corrected. The Toronto Rock in blue, red, and white. Knighthawks, white, teal, and purple. Knighthawks have scored 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of this game. Now let's see if that momentum was shaken off due to that long stoppage. Vince with an easy stop, and here come the Knighthawks up the floor.
And Matt Vince is one of those goalies you want to get to early as well. When he gets in a groove, he just seems to get so comfortable.
Well, he's been good for so long, too.
The goalie of the year 5 times in this league.
Jamieson with a nice give and go. Sidearm whip. Ball bounces behind the cage of Nick Rose. Toronto bringing it up the floor quickly. There's Damon Edwards chugging over center. Dumps it in the neutral zone. And there's Schreiber. Kicks it back to the slot. Went far side and wide. Toronto corrals in the rebound, though. 10 seconds left on the shot clock in the slot. And got tied up. Great defense there by Scott Campbell. And that pass too low, went right in between the legs of Brody Merrill. And the shot clock hit 0. Knighthawks possession. And Lomas, the rookie, out on the floor. He bobbles out the end of his stick, gets it back though. So that rookie talent to go along with the returning veterans makes Rochester all of a sudden a daunting force. Nice kick saved there by Nick Rose. Trowell brings it up the floor and now waits as the offense gets back on. There's Brett Hickey. A little soft touch, and when Vince saw it in time, if he was able to get the one swing shot on it, might have caught him off guard, but Vince was able to reposition himself. Trying for the swim move there. Stefan LeBlanc back in after coming out from a lower body injury. Hickey as well, diving, and Hickey was in the crease as he powered his way past Jarrett Davis. Long pass, snap to Graham Hossack. Joe Resetair to Cody Jamieson, remarkably returning from ACL rehabilitation. 11 minutes even left to play in the opening quarter. There's Jamieson, right side. Sends to the weak side. And a toe stop, nicely done on Joe Resetair by Rose. Loose ball scramble there by Lomas. And the Rock are able to come up with it here. Shots even at 4 apiece. And McCardle getting double teamed and somehow splits the defense, comes out with the ball. And there's Schreiber. He's really developed into a bit of a quarterback on this offense, being a distributor, leading the team in assists. Casey Bearns is going for it behind the net. Swatted back to prevent an over and back. Nicely done by McCardle, but there's a shot clock violation anyway. Paul Dawson was hacked by LeBlanc. You got those big Dawson brothers, Shanny, 6'5" apiece. So hard to move.
Absolutely. And you got Dan with the ball here when he drives to the net. Awfully tough to check.
Dan and Paul Dawson both on the floor. Ferreira in behind the net with Cree. It's in the crease. Rose smothers it. Quick outlet pass to Bradley Cree.
We have not really had a good scoring chance
No.
Since that break in the action.
Teams trying to feel their way back up, get re-warmed up. Sent back, Rock cycling the ball around the perimeter. There's Schreiber, little stutter step, and went to feed right in the slot. That would have been beautiful to Mikey McDonald. And that chemistry, not quite there between the new teammates. But you can see the plays being designed, Shanny, that when that chemistry does come, that offense is going to get even better.
Yeah, you know, there's been a few missed passes by the Toronto Rock, a few plays similar to that one where the ball has come to Toronto players and they just haven't caught the ball.
No.
Almost like surprised, like everybody else, that the pass made it.
Yeah, we'll take the quick break. Knighthawks lead the Rock 2-0. You're watching the NLL on NLL TV.
For a string king unstrung hero, a player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed for his team in other ways. So tell me who you've got.
Well, he definitely didn't contribute on the scoreboard, but he was a big factor in his team's win this week. We spoke about him a little bit earlier on in the show. I'm going with Aaron Bold as my unstrung hero for this week, and here is why. Saskatchewan Rush really needed to avoid going 0-3 to start the season, and Aaron was a big factor in how they were able to do that. He started off the season a little shaky. In fact, he was suspended for the first game, then coming out against Toronto, he only had 36 saves on 49 shots, but he was so solid between the pipes in this one, stopping 40 shots. He had 40 saves on 48 shots, a solid performance, a real big reason why the Rush were able to win this one. And I think he's going to be a huge factor in if this team wants to get back to the playoffs and hopefully make it to their 3rd Champions Cup in a row. So that is why Aaron Bold is my unstrung hero for this week. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Back at the Air Canada Centre here in Toronto, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. You're watching on NLLTV.com. Rochester Knighthawks leading the Rock 2-0 after a couple of early goals, 2 goals in under 2 minutes. Then we had a long stoppage for some technical difficulties, and since then we've seen both teams play a little bit tentatively. Now 8:54 to go in the opening quarter. Rock going from right to left on your screen. Couple players returning for Toronto. Stefan LeBlanc and Brett Hickey. There's Turner Evans diving, Superman leap. And Matt Vince looking so good. And we know once he gets going, it is tough to stop. There's Gillies. Whoa, Brad Gillies. Came right off the bench there, through the neutral zone, crossed over and made it look easy.
Yeah, very nice shot. And just after the great scoring chance by Evans, Gillies, watch this one here. He just picked the corner on that shot.
Just nonchalantly, not a lot of power, just accurate.
A second-year player gets his first goal from Oakville, Ontario.
So now it is 3-0. Toronto in the face-off circle has the advantage. Bradley Cree coming into this game, 67.5% of the face-off sees one compared to Dylan Evans, 48.5%. Ball scooted free, and Toronto takes that one. Latrell Harris. Harris will dump it and head to the bench here. As Toronto just trying to find their legs. It hasn't been that they played bad necessarily, Shanny, but when they have had a breakdown, the Knighthawks have been right there to capitalize.
Yeah, Rochester's definitely made the most of their opportunities.
Toronto being stuck out there on the perimeter.
Shots are only 5-4. The shots are actually 5-4 for Toronto. So Rochester's got 3 goals on 4 shots.
Jeez.
You know, I think that one goal you could say Nick Rose couldn't be faulted. Probably that last goal and the first goal he should have had.
Right. And Gillies coming in and being the rock on the transition, an area they were so good in the first couple games of this season. Here's Lomas. Swatted down in the slot, picked back up though by Rochester. Lomas again over the top hurl. Stopped by Rose. Long loop and Hail Mary. Outlet pass. Just too far. Just too far for Damon Edwards. Eddie Wood, top shot. That might have hit the post. Lomas still able to get a quality opportunity.
Oh, we saw 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan. Damon Edwards used his speed to score 2 goals on the transition for the Toronto Rock.
He has that. Him and Jesse Gamble have that dangerous speed on the transition. Under 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. Ferreira trying to use the screen. Rose didn't see all of it, but got enough. And Rogers had his pocket picked. The ball rolls free, and now the Knighthawks will have another chance. Lots of time on the shot clock with 20 seconds. And Ferreira trying to open himself up. There's Jackson, Kyle Jackson, the phenomenal rookie. Leads the Knighthawks in scoring.
Yeah, a little aggressive on that pick.
Whoa, laid right out. A high pass, similar to when a quarterback throws the ball too high and lays the receiver out. And a great shot and a better goal. The Toronto Rock, Brett Hickey, it squeaked through Matt Vince.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a broken play if I ever saw one.
That was all over the place.
Toronto Rock had a lot of difficulty just getting the ball over half. And then when they finally did, this was not their best scoring chance, but probably in the stick of their best shooter.
Well, it was strange because going back just probably a minute before that, Gilbert was having
trouble. The flag
trouble
is thrown too.
To challenge. Gilbert was having trouble picking up the ball in his own end, and then there was some
No,
back
you're
and
right. It
forth.
was almost a comedy of errors that turned out well for the Toronto Rock, depending on how this challenge goes.
Potentially well, and that could be where the Knighthawks got a bit of a break on that first goal. That trickled pass rose just over the goal line. If this stands,
this is a similar one, yeah.
It would be very similar, yeah.
But you're right. They couldn't pick up the ball cleanly. They got checked from behind before they crossed the line. Then the big hit. They were lucky the ball stayed in. I'm not sure what they're looking to call here.
No. I think it was Cree who got laid out.
Oh, you know what? I think the Rock player on the far side
right
went
side,
in the crease, I think.
Oh, here we go.
yeah.
Let's see.
It looks like he steps in the crease. Now, if he got out before the ball went in, he's fine, but I'm not so sure about that.
Let's see. We've got 2 feet.
Oh, yeah. This isn't going to count.
Great
No.
challenge. Because we were looking at first at Hickey, and then, well, there's no problem.
And, you know, it's a sloppy play, too, because there's no need. There's no need for him to be running through the crease.
No.
This will show it.
Let's see if we can get the number. Let's see. 1, 2.
He's definitely in.
And where's the ball?
Oh, he might be good.
now.
Oh, yes.
Now
yeah. I think this will be a good goal.
Both feet are out there.
He got out in time.
If that ball would have went in clean, no doubt, but it got caught up in the equipment.
That ball trickled enough that it allowed him time to get out. Yeah, he got out.
I think he got
out. Now,
out.
they can't really tell from there, but I think that last angle kind of showed it to us.
Yeah.
And remember, the refs have to be convinced that the goal was not good. Yeah,
right.
That's good. That ball, he's out.
That's Turner Evans.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's proof that it was a good goal, and they didn't even need proof it was a good goal. They needed proof that it wasn't.
I have a decision, and count it. So Brett Hickey with the goal. And it is 3-1 Rochester.
Yeah, that was referee Todd LeBranch explaining it for all of us and pretty much said what we saw.
Yeah. That was Brett Hickey's 4th goal of the season. And so now we'll see if the Rock can do anything, win another face-off. High pass into the Rochester bench.
Sloppiness is continuing.
Yeah, it really is. We've seen.
You know, the game started that way. The Rock won the very first face-off of the game and threw the ball away, and that led to Rochester's first goal. So I'm sure they're hoping that doesn't happen again here.
Yeah, it doesn't do you any good if you win the face-off and give it away right away. Watch out for the rookies. There's Josh Courier. He has a goal already on that gorgeous feed from Jamison. Right into the belly of Nick Rose. Doesn't allow a rebound. Outlet pass to Edwards. And now it's a 3-on-2 for the moment. High shoulder stop by Vince. Great shot by Jesse Gamble.
Vince played that very well.
Yeah.
You know, the good goalies seem to know whether a guy's going to pass or shoot. And he looked like he was 100% sure that a shot was coming there and came out and challenged enough that there really wasn't anywhere for that ball to go.
Just over 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Knighthawks up by 2. Lomas has the pick set for him. Drops to the weak side. Lomas takes it again outside the line in that slot. And try to go high. Dan Dawson did, and it got caught up in his own teammate, Dylan Evans. Trying for the fast break, but Rochester coming back. There's Mikey McDonald. Can't penetrate the lane. Schreiber. Sent back a screen, went for a bouncer. Ricochets off the glass high. Stays in play. Well, looked like it stayed in play. And the whistle blows, might have gone into the Rochester bench there. We will take the break and come back with 4:37 left in the first quarter. Knighthawks lead the Rock 3-1. You're listening and watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Yeah.
Like I want to come up, like you have runs into me, just get out to the switch.
I blew him up. Fall back to the net, right?
I was just looking at the stats there. Toronto's 5 for 5 on the face-offs, yet they've thrown away the ball twice. One of them led directly to a goal.
This is the first time in a while that the Rock have really taken the face-off situation seriously. It was kind of a write-off of whatever in past years. Remember doing the games the last couple of years with you, Shanny. We talked to the Rock, like, it's kind of a nice to have, but this year they really seem to be found something special in Cree.
I think there's some coaches in the NLL think that the face-off is really overrated.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that thinking is starting to change. I think when you see a team have a dominant face-off guy, you can see the importance that plays. Maybe not in the middle of the game, but you get late in the game and you're either trying to come back or shut down a comeback. Face-offs are huge.
And every extra possession can count there. 3-1 the score. Rochester Knighthawks lead the Toronto Rock. 3:37 left in the first quarter. Scott Campbell with the hot pass to Recitaritz. He gets rid of it. Campbell out the back door. And Rose, not sure if that even really got through, got tangled up.
Rob Marshall playing his first game. You got the stick check there. It was a really nice play.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about Marshall coming back as well. Another veteran face on this Rock lineup. There to Schreiber. Schreiber turned on the Jets for a moment, pulls it back, 9 to shoot. Sidearm whip. Wow, look at the power. The velocity behind that shot. Now it was right into the stick of Vince.
Good job by Vince to give up no rebound on that play.
That could have been a big, juicy rebound.
And sometimes late in the shot clock, you're just looking to hit it off the belly to create a rebound to keep that ball, keep the offense going, and he just sucked it up.
That kind of fresh 30. Intercepted, and coming back is Billy Hostrauser with a one-on-one. Hostrauser with the stick, and it's a stop by Vince. And he was able to not have his shot interrupted by Tyler Ferreira.
Well, I thought Hostrauser did a good job just to get that shot away because Ferreira was right on his back the whole way, waiting for it.
Whoa, and Dylan Evans was right on the doorstep of that crease. Went off the heel of his stick, though. A little back and forth now. There's Rogers. He'll head to the bench. Brett Hickey with Casey Bearns. With a veteran look on the floor. High shot wide, almost nicked the referee. Rattled off the backboard. Back to Toronto. There's Hickey. The top, Casey Bearns, sidearm shot. And it sails high and up. Turner Evans right back.
That's what Toronto's looking for.
Open look, Bearns! And it went off the backside of the Nighthawk defender. Loose ball scramble, a scrum. 19 to shoot, and the Nighthawks will come up with it. There's Jarrett Davis. He had the first Nighthawks goal tonight, that trickler in.
We haven't seen Cody Jamieson on the floor in a while.
No. I wonder if that's part conditioning, not want to ease him back in. Kyle Jackson with the dish. Recitaritz, left wing. Clicks with Jackson. And cannot find Davis. Bradley Cree tying up his man. And the captain, Brody Merrill, gets rid of it, pushes it up the floor. There's Stefan LeBlanc, and the ball just knocked free. Wow, a great check. And tipping the ball out. LeBlanc had a clear look. There's Schreiber, waits. Look at that, stick handling off the post. And Nick Rose was going to head to the bench. He was about 3/4 of the way there as we're in the last minute of the first quarter.
I think a delayed penalty on that play. I'm not sure if the Rock players were aware of it.
That's going to go to John Ray.
He's playing his first game for Rochester.
So Ray will be in the box.
Another one of the rookies on this Rochester team.
And that's what you mentioned earlier, Shanny, that these two teams are in a retooling, not rebuilding at all, but a retooling phase where they have an influx of youth and they're trying to make that transition with the already established veterans. 41 seconds left. Rock on the power play. Schreiber with the soft touch, and it went right through the legs and out the other side of Vince. He had him beat. Took a Rochester hop. And Sid Smith crushes LeBlanc. Scott Campbell going for the ball here as well.
Some pretty big hitters in there with Sid Smith, Paul Dawson, Scotty Campbell.
Sid Smith, a very thick 6 feet, 223 pounds. Nasty customer. Whoa! And could see another penalty coming to Rochester.
Yeah, there is. Dawson looks like he's going off alone. He just ran over. I'm not sure which Toronto player that is.
Might have been Casey Behrens. And when you're 6'5", 230 pounds, it's pretty easy to roll over people. So Paul Dawson in the box with John Ray.
Paul Dawson was drafted first round in the NLL as a goaltender.
Right, that's right.
On the same team that Matt Vince was on.
Wow. Thought, Matt Vince is pretty good. I'll try something else. Now it's a 5-on-3, 9 seconds left in the first. Hickey with a shot, scores on the power play. Brett Hickey with his second of the night. And the Rock trail by 1.
What a great shot by Hickey. Good movement by Toronto. They're getting Vince moving back and forth in the net, and Vince does not get a chance to step out. And when you're in your net and you got a shooter like Hickey, he's going to pick the corner. But you really can't challenge. When the ball is moving so fast, you can't overplay an outside shot.
No. And the Rock's third power play goal of the season.
They've just gone up to 30%.
That's right. they jumped almost 8%. And the Rock looking for more as the clock hits 0. Latrell Harris, one of the rookie defenders, getting an opportunity. So after 1 quarter of play, the Knighthawks lead the Rock 3-2. We'll take the break and come back for the second quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
It is time for this week's Box Bosses, and there's a common theme amongst these 3 players. They're always the players to lead their way for their respective teams. So let's get started off. At number 3, I have Mark Matthews for the Saskatchewan Rush. 5 points in his first game, then he had 7 points in his second game, and then he improves with 4 goals and 7 assists for 11 points in his third game. He's one of the best players in the game right now, Mia, and he consistently shows us why. Now we're gonna move along to number 2, my second box boss, Lyle Thompson. This guy is a stud on and off the floor. He came up with a 4-goal performance in week 4 against the Black Wolves. He looks better and better as the weeks go by. Here's a guy that's also always got a smile on his face, and how could he not with his team being off to a 3-0 start? Plus, I really don't see this team slowing down anytime soon, and I don't see Lyle Thompson slowing down anytime soon either. And then we move to number 1. He was a box boss last week, actually. I have Ryan Benetch of the Buffalo Bandits, 4 goals, 5 assists. Now, here's a player who has Dane Smith out of his team's lineup, and other guys have to step up and be better. And this is why I'm picking Benny. He's led the way in terms of point production for his team since the first game of the season for the Bandits. 5 points his first game, 7 points his second game, and now 9 points his third game with the team. Here's a veteran guy that just keeps getting better and better.
Don't miss your chance to see all the action live this season on NLLTV.com. Sign up for the NLL Pass to watch all the games or your favorite team. Plus, you get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre. Second quarter underway. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. You can get us on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, and at SBDShanny. Use the hashtag ROCVSTOR. Comment on the game. Give me your thoughts as the Knighthawks lead 3-2, but the last 2 goals have come from Toronto. Rock now.
Toronto continues to win the faceoffs.
Yep. Yeah, and you were saying a perfect 5 for 5 before that one, so now I guess 6 for 6. And Toronto going from left to right on your screen. High shot. Turned aside by Matt Vince. Here's Schreiber. Leads the team. Went for a one swing by Casey Behrens, and we know how good he is. The shorter the period of time that ball is in his stick, the more effective he is. Rock pinching in, still on the power play for 47 seconds. Hickey scored with the man advantage when they were up 2 men. There's Stephen LeBlanc. Quick pass to scores! Count it! All tied at 3.
That was Schreiber scoring that goal for the Toronto Rock. And he almost looked hesitant to shoot. He wanted to be the passer, but when you get in that close, you've got to take the shot.
Got to do it. His second of the season. You have another look. And I commented late in the first quarter, the power of that shot. And sometimes you have guys, Dan Dawson fell into this category, Shanny, where he has such a good shot and is such a good shooter, but the pass mentality is so ingrained that sometimes coaches have to say, hey, don't forget, you can shoot.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think sometimes rookies defer to the established players, and Schreiber's got Hickey out there.
Looking for more. Dancing in was Schreiber, and Schreiber's feeling it now.
And I'm sure the coaches are telling him, hey, you can shoot as well as any of these guys. Keep doing it.
And the Knighthawks coming right back. Nice opportunity by Andrew Suter. Haven't said his name too much. And Cody Jamieson, we haven't seen on the floor very much in the last several minutes. Jamieson, Dawson, and Suter all returning to the Knighthawks lineup tonight. There's Mikey McDonald. Slides over. And Brett Hickey, a little dump to Schreiber again. Finds McCardle, the other U.S. rookie. And it bounces away. Would be an over and back. And here comes Lord. Lord looks out the back way and scores!
That was some nice hands by the defensive veteran, Ian Lord.
Lord, and he was looking over his shoulder to see where the Rock player was so he wouldn't get his stick knocked. And on a breakaway, that's a beautiful goal there.
And we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and we don't see it on the replay, but this goal really starts from a bit of a lazy pass up high by Kieran McCardle. I'm sure the coaches are going to tell him about it because the same thing happened against Saskatchewan.
Yes,
and
right.
That pass was a soft pass, a bit of a bounce. Great anticipation by Ian Lord to run up and knock that ball ahead to turn into a goal.
And McCardle, like Schreiber, is a stud in the field game, making that transition inside.
Yeah, and when we talk about transition goals, it's usually, you talk about a team that's strong defensively, it starts with the offense. And the offense has to, make the safe passes, don't turn the ball over up high, and make good changes. And that was just a mistake out there, but I'm sure he'll learn.
But, Shandy, look at the shooting percentage for the Knighthawks as Matt Vince races to the bench for the man advantage. Penalty comes to Toronto. 9 shots for Rochester and 4 goals. They're efficient, if nothing else. And another one with the extra man. A 5th goal for Rochester.
Well, that was a nice shot.
Resitaritz.
That was a real nice shot by Resitaritz. He, much like a Casey Behrens, he gets this in his stick. Watch. As soon as it comes in his stick, he'll take the shot, and it's a perfect shot.
You see Dawson setting it up.
We're going to see the replay right here. Gets that shot. Oh, my.
Perfect placement. Wow. Far side top shelf. Man. No one's stopping that. So Resitaritz gives the Knighthawks their 5th goal on their 10th shot. So 50%. Even I can do that math. Shooting percentage. I wait till it gets to an even number, and then I try to break up the percentages. 12:34 to go in the first half. And where we thought we saw that momentum swing to the Rock, it's gone right back to Rochester. Bradley Cree wins another faceoff. Billy Hostrauser on the floor. Gets rid of it, heads to the bench. Rock offense coming out. Rock have double the shots at 20. Brett Hickey left wing. Finds McDonald, has some room over the top. Hurl, and a save by Vince. What a great save by Matt Vince. And you can feel Vince really getting into the zone.
A good defense by Rochester to collapse on LeBlanc there.
Yeah, they really squeezed him out. Rochester back the other way, but Toronto gets their defense on the floor too. And went for a partial screen. That was a nice attempt by Dan Lomas, the rookie. And the Rock going to settle things down a little bit. There's Kieran McCardle. Puts his shoulder down. Had the stick wrapped up in his face mask. Kind of twirled him to the ground. Ball's still free here. There's Mikey McDonald. And
Toronto's getting a penalty for hold.
I'm
not sure if Rochester is going to the box with him. I'm pretty sure it's I thought it was Casey Beers, but no, it was on this side of the floor. McCardle.
2-minute slashing.
Well, he said Buffalo penalty, but we know he meant Toronto.
Buffalo is playing.
Yes.
Buffalo. Last time we checked, it was tied at 5 with New England. We'll try to update you throughout.
Oh, it's the slash there, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dan Dawson slow to get up. You get all the score updates you need at NLL.com, NLLTV.com, and on Twitter at NLL. Myself at AndyMC81 and Shanny at SBD Shanny. Use the hashtag ROCVSTOR. There's Jackson. Jackson pulls out. Kyle Jackson was such a force in the first 3 games. Blind pass fooled everybody on the Rock, including and then his teammate Lomas. Lomas cycling around. Went high. Jackson really reared back, and that got by Rose, but went wide left. There's Dan Dawson with a bit of space. Feeds, and Rose with an incredible stick side save. Fresh 30 for the Knighthawks. Brody Merrill got tangled up a little bit with the referee. Dan Dawson. There's a matchup you'll love to see. Merrill and Dawson, 2 big boys. Rest of Terrence near side. Rose with the stop. Short outlet pass. Oh, Rob Marshall. Oh, that's Gilbert, actually. Got double teamed and squeaked away. So the Rock shorthanded for another 50 seconds. Nice weak side pass by LeBlanc. Went for a blind one to Hickey, and it got into the stick of the Knighthawks. There's Brad Gillies. He has a goal already tonight. Jackson, point blank range, and Rose stood tall. Another sloppy pass, Shanny. We're seeing the passing just costing the Rock opportunities.
Absolutely. They've made a few bad passes. That last 3-on-2 was as a result of a sloppy pass. Now,
right.
Cody Jamieson must be hurting because he's not even on the power play.
No. See if we get any sort of update. Whoa! How did that get through? Went for that bounce. And you hear the toughest shot for a goalie is when the ball bounces in front because you never know which way it's going to spin.
Well, watch what Kyle Jackson does here, the great rookie for Rochester.
He's been so good.
Yeah, watch this stick work on this play. Not only does he beat the defender Gamble with a big fake, and then he shoots it on the backhand past Nick Rose, who's fighting the ball more than we've seen all season.
Yeah, that was a great kind of twist with the stick on the backhand, but then he kind of torqued it a little bit as well. So Kyle Jackson. And Dan Dawson with the assist. The Knighthawks doubling up Toronto right now, 6-3. We'll step aside. 9:27 to go in the second quarter. You're watching the NLL on NLL TV.
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside. He scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear. The NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Let's give it up again nice and loud for your Toronto Rock cheerleaders and Skechers Canada.
I don't look beside me or behind me. I look forward. It's all about progress, focused only on
Sign up and get all the latest NLL news delivered right to your inbox. Visit NLL.com and sign up for the NLL newsletter right now. Back to the Air Canada Centre, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Shot right on and a beauty stop by Matt Vince. Rochester doubling up Toronto here, 6-3, 9:09 left in the second quarter. Rochester racing up the floor, going right to left on your screen. Dan Dawson with the toss. Teresa Terrence. Big Dan Dawson tries to clear some space, set a pick. Terrence Terrence back out, 13 to shoot for the Knighthawks. And the Rock with an interception here. Try for a little odd man rush. Instead of it's a 2-on-3, there's Jesse Gamble. He'll wait for reinforcements. Maybe not. Gamble dives and rolled to the crease anyway. Gamble faked everybody off, decided to take a chance himself. There's the rookie Ray. Goes to the bench. Courier here. One of a number of fine first-year players for the Knighthawks. He receives from Terrence, who bulldozes his way to the front. Watch out for Davis, set up in the low post. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Back to even strength here. Went for the blind shot to Terrence. It is wide, and Rob Marshall gets cranked in front of the Rochester bench. Spins out of it nicely, though. 24-16 shots in favor of the Rock. And the Rock will be going back to the power play, it looks like. Nick Rose heading to the bench for the extra attacker. Casey Behrens going at it with the Knighthawks, and we'll see what the call is.
Well, not a lot has been working for Toronto this game, but the power play so far has been good. 2 for 2.
Yeah, had that 3-man advantage, scored on both of those. 3-man, and then it was the regular 1 short. Let's see what the call is here.
Rochester minor penalty number 42. 2 minutes, roughing.
I think that was related to the hit made on Rob Marshall in front of the bench.
Davis not happy with the call. So the Rock back on the power play. LeBlanc receives. Trying to work his way back from a lower body injury is Stefan LeBlanc. LeBlanc in that high right slot. Down low! Trying to get Vince moving from left to right. He did, but slid over. There's Paul Dawson. Paul Dawson fake, now ahead to the bench. Terrence with Dawson. Looking to create space. Running out of time on the shot clock. Rochester can't penetrate. 3 to shoot. Dawson still outside. Tried to lead his man Dan Lomas and was too far. Rock coming back the other way. Gamble fields the grounder. Minute left on the power play for the Rock. LeBlanc playing catch with his outside men. Now Mikey McDonald as LeBlanc circles back on the outside. McDonald and Turner Evans, and says he stepped in the crease. So another opportunity to get away by Toronto. And now, Shane, this is where Rochester can just eat up some clock.
Absolutely. They'll try to eat up most of this remaining 30 seconds on the penalty.
26 seconds shorthanded for the Knighthawks. Terrence with the dump. They're being pretty aggressive, though, on this penalty kill, not just playing catch around the arc. Kyle Jackson burrowing his way into Toronto territory. The shot clock hits 0, and now Toronto have one last drive, 7 seconds left.
And they won't even try taking the shot because they don't want the guy coming out of the penalty box getting a breakaway.
Jared Davis now. We're back to 5-on-5. Davis right there to LeBlanc. And it got past Hickey. Toronto got the rebound off the boards, though. See if they can do it again. High, and Turner Evans trying to back his way in. The ball's still free on Sid Smith, who lost his stick. Now the Knighthawks come up with it. Paul Dawson jogs over center. Just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Paul Dawson with the one touch to brother Dan, who rolls out of the crease afterwards. And now the Rock trying to come back, but Rochester doing a great job coming off the bench quickly. Here's Toronto diving. It would have been in the crease anyway. Brett Hickey looking up. And with that, the Rochester Knighthawks still lead by 3. We'll step aside, be back in just a moment. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. .450 to go in the first half. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. The Rochester Knighthawks doubling up the Toronto Rock 6-3 here. Toronto leads in the shot category 25-17. Knighthawks possession. We're back at even strength. Joe Resetaritz has been a force tonight. Has it on the left wing here. Sends back. 12 to shoot for the Knighthawks. Blind pass finds Resetaritz. Swing and a miss by the rookie Lomas. Whoa! Wow!
Oh, nice
wow!
goal.
What a goal by the Rochester Knighthawks. Joe Resetaritz was on the left side, scampered around when Lomas had it, and came out the back door. Nobody saw him, including Nick Rose.
A really great effort by Resetaritz late in the shot clock. He's just so persistent to get this loose ball, get the shot on the wrong side of the floor. You got to give him credit for the effort. That's only the first Rochester player to have more than one goal. Six goal scorers in this game. He's got 2 and a bunch of singles.
That's right. His 4th of the season.
And the big story coming in this game, or one of the big stories, was that they had Cody Jamieson back. He has not played since early in the game. He made his presence known with 2 quick assists, but I don't even think he's on the bench anymore.
And that was it. Kick stop and falling back on the ball with Matt Vince. So we hope nothing is wrong with that knee for Cody Jamieson, but he has not been on the floor.
He's not been on the floor, but they don't appear to be missing him right now. I mean,
No.
You'd always love to have him in the lineup. A player as fantastic as he is, but the young guys have been contributing.
And Joe Resetaritz has been a factor all night.
Well, Resetaritz has a couple. Dan Dawson doesn't have a goal yet. He's got a couple of assists.
Sure.
But you've got
The rookies.
Courier's got one. Kyle Jackson.
And a penalty to Rochester, John Ray. So Toronto, who has scored on the power play 2 times, have a chance to get back in it here. And they do right away. Brett Hickey with the hat trick, his second on the power play, gives Toronto their 4th.
And Brett Hickey got a hat trick his first game of the season against Rochester. He didn't play 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan, but just a little pick thrown by Turner Evans to block out Scotty Campbell to give him a little bit more room to step into the shot, Brett Hickey. But he's been the hot shooter for Toronto, probably the only hot shooter. And I'm sure Matt Vince doesn't like facing him right now after he scored a hat trick last time.
No. So his 6th of the season, and Brett Hickey now leads the Rock in goals. And this is their 3rd game. Casey Bearns, or rather that's Latrell Harris, was bobbling the ball, still keeps possession though, couldn't get a shot away. Latrell Harris limping a little bit there, heads off. But great ball control by Harris.
Well, a great job recovering the ball that was knocked loose. Good job in the face-off, then he got it back.
Turner Evans, second offensive unit on the floor for Toronto. LeBlanc trying to set up in the low post, finds Kieran McCardle. That ball got redirected, didn't even get close to Vince as the shot clock hit 0. The Knighthawks come back the other way. 3:10 to go in the second quarter. Couple of rookies on the floor. You have Courier and Lomas. Went for a high pass. There's Dan Dawson off the board. Some space, leaping through the air. And Rose just grabs that left post and won't let go to keep the ball out. Rock storming up the floor. Now they'll wait patiently for the offense to come on. Mikey McDonald's been buzzing tonight. That's not a lot of scoring opportunities, but you can feel he might be on the cusp of a couple. There's Stephen LeBlanc, one of the best swim moves in the game. Mikey McDonald, the ball sent the other way off the body of Gillies. Rock Corral, blind pass to LeBlanc. He gets pushed back as the ball hits one. They'll just drop it.
Well, this Rochester defense, when they're on, and they look like they're on tonight, they seem to get the sticks in the lanes.
Yeah.
And Toronto's having a hard time getting the shots even through to the net.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a few times. You're right, Shanny. There's Resetaritz. Gives to Lomas. Now over to the right wing. Kyle Jackson. Stops to Resetaritz. 7 to shoot. And a high save there with the stick. Snap outlet pass. A beautiful one to Brody Merrill. The captain. Sends it down to the right wing. Gamble sends it back. $1:33 left in the second. LeBlanc playing catch with McCardle. McCardle can't find anything free. He's getting harassed by Campbell. That was just a wild shot. And a costly one. Another mistake by McCardle.
Yeah, big rebound turns into a transition going the other way.
And here's Andrew Suter, the 2012 NLL Transition Player of the Year, acquired August 15 by the Knighthawks in his first action in the teal and purple and white. Jared Davis went 5-hole Rose. And he just falls on it.
You know, we talk about McCardle and Schreiber learning the box game coming from a field background. Those big, hard, wide shots don't matter in field.
Great point.
And we can see in box lacrosse, a big, ugly rebound turns into trouble.
Well, we saw it in the finals last year. It went 5-hole. Vince sits on the ball.
No, you're absolutely right. Ryan Benesh, good scoring chance, went wide, turns into a winning goal for Saskatchewan Rush.
Yeah.
Travis Cornwall.
Yeah, that breakaway by Cornwall to win it. Last minute of play here, 30 seconds left. Knighthawks lead by 3. Ferreira to Dawson, who has a lot of room. Doesn't pull the trigger, though. One of the few knocks on Dawson, and intercepted by Hostrauser. 16 left. And
I don't know if they got called for too many men on the floor or if they called their timeout. I don't think I would have. I think I would have taken that 2-on-1.
Yeah. Appears like, timeout for Toronto. I'm with you, Shani. It looked like they had that full go of it there up the floor.
Well, the thing is when you play a 6-on-5 or a power play, it's all about creating 2-on-1s.
Right.
And they just looked to me like they had a 2-on-1 right in front of them.
And that was a nice pick by Billy Hostrauser, who's had a nice game, a couple key defensive plays there to create opportunities. But really, it's about not so much missed opportunities, Shanny, but just not being able to convert. Like they're giving passes away, either it's sloppy or long passes that go off the boards for Toronto.
Yeah, and Rochester's shooting has been good today.
Yeah.
It hasn't been Nick Rose's best game, but there's been some good shot by the Rochester shooters. They've made the most of their chances.
That one by Reston Terrence from the left side, that top corner wide.
Yeah, both his goals I really liked.
Gorgeous. All right, extra attacker on. Nick Rose on the bench. Toronto possession, 10 seconds. There's Schreiber. Drops it to LeBlanc. 5 seconds left in the quarter. 3 seconds now. Went for a screen and got Vince moving. That will bring an end to the first half. Toronto up in shots, 29-21, but trail where it counts 7-4 to the Rochester Knighthawks. So, Shanny, thoughts on that first quarter? We had the quick beginning by the Knighthawks, that lengthy technical delay, and then it's been back and forth since.
Yeah, well, the Knighthawks have definitely carried the play, despite the fact Toronto is out shooting them 29-21. Rochester's been more efficient. They've made fewer mistakes. They made the most of their shots.
Yep.
And neither team has really got a lot of offense going. It's just that Rochester's been the better shooters this game.
And especially early, Toronto was having trouble penetrating, so you were seeing a lot of shots late in the shot clock that got on, but weren't quality scoring chances.
No, you're absolutely right. And, Matt Vince doesn't give up many rebounds either. So those long, late shots usually don't do much but get the ball to Rochester.
All right, we will take the break, be back in about 12 minutes as we will start up the third quarter. So at the half, the Rochester Knighthawks 7, Toronto Rock 4. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Welcome.
Getting ready for the second half here at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Thanks for joining us here on NLLTV.com. After 2 quarters to play, it is the visiting Rochester Knighthawks leading the Toronto Rock 7-4. Now, Shanny, we were told at halftime, we were mentioned we had not seen Cody Jamieson on the floor. Looks like he will be out for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, that's huge. In the long term, I don't know if it'll affect Rochester this game. They seem to be doing fine without him. I mean, we said we didn't see him since, the first couple of shifts in that game where he got a couple of assists. But in the long term, this Rochester team is a whole lot better with Cody Jamieson than they are without. Although, to be honest, the beginning of the year, most of us thought they were going to have him all year.
No, it was a surprise this week. We were chatting like, did you see that? Yeah, he's back, really? And he was. Hopefully he's not re-injured it.
Yeah, we still hope that, whatever it is, that he is not all year. We hope that this is not a long-term thing, but I think you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, no doubt. The Toronto Rock in blue, red, and white. Let's take a big shot.
Now, Toronto's taken 40 shots. That's their 30th shot on net. But they've, in shots taken, they've outshot Rochester 40-25. Rochester's only missed the net 4 times on their shots, though.
And that's important because they've had the chances, but either unable to penetrate, and the farther you are out, the lower the quality scoring chance, and we've been seeing that from Toronto.
Well, the only one who's really had success from the outside shot.
Oh, and Restaterets was right there, but the official's calling it back.
And Brett Hickey's been the only guy that's had success from the outside shooting for Toronto Rock. Rochester seems like, a lot of the guys have had some good outside shots. Rezataris scored one. Jarrett Davis scored a bit of a lucky one.
Right off the bat. So 6 different goal scorers for the Knighthawks compared to 2 for Toronto. That was Hickey, as you said, with the hat trick.
And
2
of
on
Toronto's
the
4 goals, 3 of them were on the power play.
Man advantage. And Schreiber would have had a great opportunity, but Sid Smith, captain, just took it away. And here's a 2-on-1. Knighthawks, and right behind Gillies. Jarrett Davis put it behind the streaking attacker and missed opportunity.
Well, Gillies scored a nice transition goal early in the game.
Yeah.
And that time he just couldn't handle the pass.
It was perfect placement earlier on. So the Rock's deficit remains at 3. There's Casey Bierns. Pulls it back. Schreiber with the dish to the right wing. Schreiber receives. He has 3 seconds to shoot to the weak side. Nice pass, and that is off the mark. Schreiber has been a setup mastermind early on in this season.
Oh, and they said that was on the mark. They got reset.
Okay. Looked like it was wide. I guess Vince got just a bit of it. In any case, he'll collect that offering and send it out to his players. And here are the Knighthawks. of the rookies. There's Kyle Jackson. Led the team in scoring coming in. Sharp pass finds its mark. Sets the lane. And then on the near side, high pass. Taking that fly ball. Well done by Latrell Harris. We've seen him a couple of different times tonight, Shanny. Make some nice defensive plays and tournament opportunities.
Yeah, an 18-year-old. It's just amazing that he plays with the confidence, getting that loose ball around a crowd and recovering it.
And for 18, 215 pounds at 18.
Yeah, he's a big 18-year-old.
That's a man right there. 12:07 to go in the third quarter. Knighthawks rumbling up the floor. A 3-on-0 for a moment. It came back. Scott Campbell got the ball hacked loose. Whoa, and hit hard from behind. I believe that was Damon Edwards getting back. And what a defensive play for Edwards. Might have saved a goal. Desperation pass high. Tyler Ferreira grabs it in the near corner. Ferreira winds up. And Rose fields it from a knee. Now Toronto transitions to offense. There's Hickey. Has 3 of Toronto's 4 goals tonight. He receives. Hickey with some space now. Hickey had some room, but Vince was able to take away the angle and made another difficult stop right after that. Knighthawks cycling the ball. Oh, and Dan Dawson would have been there. He looks around.
He lost his stick.
Yeah.
And Toronto's going to get a penalty for it.
Dawson looked right up. He would have been setting up in that low post for a quick shot. And instead, they were going power play. Yeah, holding the stick. Jeff Gilbert will serve 2 or less.
Rochester's 1 for 1 on the power play today.
Under 11 minutes now in the third quarter. And Vince got back to the bench. He was out there for a moment. Kyle Jackson with a hard sidearm whip. The over and back, so Toronto ball here. They'll get a chance to eat up some of that minute 39 remaining. Schreiber gets the bounce pass. Clicks to the far side. And they're just playing catch here.
Well, eventually they're going to have to take it to the net. Losing 7-4, you want to start driving to the net, even if it's, to potentially cause a penalty.
And they did just that, but the pass from Schreiber was high, intended for Stefan LeBlanc. Now, Stefan LeBlanc has looked not bad, Cheney, but maybe a little rusty.
No, there's no question that Toronto's offense does not look to have any chemistry today.
No.
5-on-5, they've got one lucky goal on a, kind of a bunch of weird bounces that turned out to a nice shot by Hickey.
Sandy Chapman takes his man down. Now Brody Merrill spinning out of trouble. Finds Jesse Gamble. A 2-on-2 for Jesse Gamble. Stutter step. Trying to deke out his man. Gets pushed back. Standing his ground was Dan Lomas. A nice poise by the rookie, not being faked out by Gamble. Shanny, the Rock looking much like Saskatchewan did a couple weeks ago here, I think, on offense, where they just seemed like the chemistry wasn't there. They were having passes that if they worked would have been great, but they just weren't in sync.
No, you're absolutely right. You know what? Toronto got a couple of key players back in the lineup today, LeBlanc and Hickey, and sometimes, though, it affects the chemistry. I mean, you want those guys in the lineup no matter what. But, 2 weeks ago, they knew they needed to get contributions from everybody, and they did. They got Philip Caputo scored a goal. Reinhold, and they got contributions from everybody. And sometimes just changing that lineup messes up the chemistry a bit, and they'll have to get used to it.
Well, the action will continue with the Knighthawks leading the Rocks 7-4 in the third quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV.
that. Digby on the take, scores. Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores.
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
The NLL would like to welcome Sports Interaction as an official partner in Canada for the 2017 season. Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Back at the Air Canada Centre, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. You can get us on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, and at SBD Shanny. Use the hashtag ROC versus TOR to talk about this game where the Rochester Knighthawks lead the Rock 7-4 with 9:21 left in the third. Rochester getting ready to start off, and the play is blown in.
There's 20 seconds left in this penalty.
Yep, for Jeff Gilbert. So the Knighthawks will be looking to strike right now, and went behind the net, and I don't think Nick Rose saw he was there.
Oh, that's a nice play when it works.
Looking for Dan Lomas. It didn't. Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Rock. Jesse Gamble switches sides with Harris, and it went for the bouncer, stick side, and it was off the mark. Neutral zone scramble here, picked up by Toronto. The Rock with some pep out of this break, and we're back to even strength. Gilbert races to the bench. Jesse Gamble with the toss. There's Casey Behrens, again near side. They're trying to work that near side on Vince, and Vince had his back up against the crossbar there, and the little behind the net push didn't work. Rochester coming back here the other way. And falling to a knee for a moment, Kyle Jackson, he was able to step back up, stepped in the crease. The inexperience of youth. And the Rock rolling up the floor here. They have Schreiber, been so good in his rookie season in box lacrosse. Matt Vince, long outlet pass, spinning around Graham Hosick. He found it eventually. Dropped up in Jackson. Little swerve here. Jackson diving. And that is in the crease. But Jackson, the way he's able to contort his body on his one goal as well, Shanny, he was able to kind of twist and then torque the head of the stick as well.
No, he's shown us some great talent. He made something out of nothing on that play right there.
He has been phenomenal.
Toronto has fought the ball.
They really have.
That pass, I thought it looked like it was on the money for LeBlanc.
Well, now and then three Toronto players collide with each other in stride, and Brody Merrill getting back to possibly save a goal. Great defense by the captain, as Dylan Evans was right there.
And we have not had a goal in the second half.
No, we haven't. Just 7:10 to go in that third quarter. Trying through a screen. Vince went down to a knee with the stop and keeping it.
Well, he doesn't have to. That went off the goaltender. I think if it goes off the goaltender, the over or back is not called.
There's Schreiber. Got rid of it. And Toronto drawing that defense out, trying to create some space underneath, and they did it, but the post saved the Knighthawks. LeBlanc here. The veteran returning, snap back, clicks to the point, and went to Turner Evans, gets to the right wing. And McCardle.
McCardle's just struggling today.
He's
that was a good
game.
spot to shoot from, and he couldn't get the shot to the net. Again, the defenders.
Sidearm, and that goes off the
backboard. That one will be over and back, but the defenders from Rochester have been the story. They have not allowed a settled 5-on-5 goal by the Toronto Rock. 3 power play goals and one broken play transition goal.
And you mentioned it, Jenny, just getting the sticks in the way, making themselves big, right? Making themselves large, taking away any sort of lane. Shoulder stop by Rose. Ferrer in behind, being harassed by Brody Merrill. And it will be Rochester possession.
A good effort by Ferreira on that loose ball to scoop it up to a teammate as Merrill was all over him.
Lomas, snap pass, clicks, and went way high over the top. Ferreira keeps it in Toronto territory. There's Courier to Ferreira. He has Lomas with him as well. Went from a three-quarter delivery. Hostrauser spins out of the way of Courier, but it's not free. And Ferreira gobbles it up.
A good second effort by Ferreira, who took a dangerous outside shot.
Sometimes there's no bigger motivator as Matt Vince goes to the Rochester bench.
Yeah, there's
Extra
a delayed
attacker.
penalty.
So Toronto will be shorthanded. If Rochester doesn't score, they scored earlier in this same situation and do again. Off the shoulder, Rose got a piece of it.
And it's the same guy who scored in the last 6 and 5 situation, Joe Resetaris.
With the hat trick, Joe Resetaris. My goodness, 3 on the night. Look at this.
So 6 on 5 play. Steps in for a shot. See if we can figure out what it. No.
Rose, it touched Rose. It got part of him. And again, Shanny, not the hardest shot from that same angle.
Yeah.
And it's just the placement. They found something they like on Rose, 5th of the year for Resetaris. Face-off coming.
And the story of this game is not the 8 goals by Rochester. It's the 4 goals by Toronto. They have been shut down so well.
On 37 shots. And now, kick save on the stick side by Rose. And Toronto will bring it over center. Harris does. 4:36 to go in the third quarter. Casey Behrens drops it. Mike McDonald gets rid of it to the right side. Clicks with Hickey. Hickey. And again, those Rochester defenders getting their bodies in the way. Hickey picks it up, though. Drop past some room. Behrens with a nice swim move. But Vince right there. Stoned him cold. And the Knighthawks bring it back up the floor. Seems, Shanny, when the Rock do have the odd opportunity, Vince is right there, and his defense is giving him enough time to adjust and enough vision to see everything.
He's playing with a lot of confidence.
There's Jackson. Jackson being driven by Billy Hostrauser, harassing the rookie. Jackson free, though. Spinning away, it's picked. Oh, no. It got stuck in the heel of the stick of Jackson. Merrill thought he might have had a chance. And with that, we will step aside. 3:45 to go in the third. 8-4 Rochester leads the Rock. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Let's go, boys. Wolves on 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! All day, baby. That's all day. That's all day.
Great, Bill. Good press.
Yep, you're low.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
or your favorite team. Plus, you get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. Back at the Air Canada Centre here in Toronto, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. The visiting Rochester Knighthawks doubling up Toronto. 8-4, 3:45 to go in the third. And Shanny, it's about lack of chemistry on the Rocks offense and the big body defenders on Rochester not letting anything through.
Yeah, you know, when this Rochester team was winning championships, they had the best defense in the NLL. And, you know, the defense is not that much difference right now.
Yeah, you're right. Still have the core.
You know, after they won 3 in a row, I think the big problem was when Toronto beat them was when Jamieson got hurt. Jamieson got hurt, and Toronto beat them in that series. And last year was a totally off year for them.
And Jamieson making his return tonight had 2 assists, but was knocked out of the game. He's not returning tonight coming off of that ACL injury. Not sure the severity of it. Keep a tab on @NLL on Twitter to find out more. 3 minutes even left in the third. Rochester with possession, and Paul Dawson rather with a one-hander. Looked like he was being held in one hand and still got a quality shot up. There's Brody Merrill.
And Rochester has given Toronto no transition at all. Seems like every time they run up the floor, there's 4 Rochester players waiting for them.
Yeah, they're getting right back there. Trying to create some space. Hard shot, a laser. But again, it was from far out, and Vince was able to see all of it. There's Lomas. So rookies on the floor, Lomas and Jackson on the right side, now trying to center up. 9 to shoot for the Knighthawks. The right wing to Lomas. Waiting for Jackson to step in the low post. He does, but he has 1 second left. And the ball is swatted away. And Harris shoves Lomas to the turf. And I really like what I'm seeing out of Latrell Harris tonight and throughout the early part of this season. This kid's playing.
Yeah, some good aggressive defense. And, you know, the same thing Rochester's doing at Toronto. He did to them there, getting the stick in the lane.
Toronto looking to get something by Matt Vince. And Schreiber's trying to do it right here. Low corner. Thread the needle. How'd he get that pass through? That was phenomenal. And a bouncer to, well, nobody, but Schreiber picks it up and scores! Schreiber making something out of nothing. His second of the night. Schreiber on the dribbler. The pass was just there. Rochester didn't pick up on it, and Schreiber gives Toronto its 5th goal.
Yeah, you said it. He made something out of nothing. Now watch the shot. That looks like he's trying to go for the far side, and I think it was the stick check that knocked the ball out of his stick early.
You're right.
And it caused the shot to go on the short side. Vince is getting ready to dive over, and that's exactly what happened. The stick check knocked it out of his stick, and the ball rolled into the short side.
That was Jarrett Davis on Schreiber, and you're right. So the good defensive play ended up hurting the Knighthawks. The second of the night for Schreiber. One early part of his rookie season. He has been phenomenal. See if the Rock can get on some sort of a run here for a bouncer. And Shanny, you said it earlier, Vince is so good at not giving up that rebound. So many of the goaltenders in that league, you'd get the odd bounce back off it, but Vince, it just sucks it in.
No, absolutely right. And sometimes when you see the late shots on the shot clock, they're not trying to score. They're trying to get it to bounce out to get the chance to get the ball back.
Right, get the fresh 30. Last minute of play in the third, 45 seconds left. Knighthawks here. There's Ferreira. Ferreira weaving his way through with Edwards. And hugging that post was Nick Rose, and Ferreira is slow to get up. Sandy Chapman into Knighthawks territory now. Hickey, some space for Toronto. Point blank range, and McCardle's tough night continues. Could not convert.
Yeah, I think McCardle had more room to step in than he realized.
Yeah. Nobody was around him. 17 seconds left. Vince making his way, sauntering over to the bench, and now he goes for the extra attacker. 10 seconds to go in the quarter.
Watch for Rezataris. He scored twice on the 6-on-5 already.
You're right. Lomas threads the needle. Put it over in that high post, but the shot was wide. And again, Shanny, they go from that right side, the stick side of Rose. They've had some success tonight. They keep going back to that.
No, the shooting has been good for Rochester. No, not a lot of shots, 26 shots. after 3 quarters, but 8 goals.
Yeah. Great shooting percentage. And the Knighthawks lead Toronto 8-5. We'll take the break and come back for the fourth. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV.
All right, let's check out the 2 goals going head-to-head in this edition of Versus. We're going to start with a champion, Jerome Thompson of the Georgia Swarm. He's going to cut down that right-hand side, shake off his brother and defender Ryan Dilks, then shoot that behind-the-back shot to beat Tyler Carlson with it. That's our champion for the past 2 weeks. And this week, he goes up against Jordan Durston of the Vancouver Stealth, who gets the ball behind the net on the power play, fakes once, twice, and then the diving shot and scores. Pretty unbelievable. I think that we've got quite the challenger on our hands. One more look here. Unbelievable goal. So, fans, who have you got? The champion, Jerome Thompson, or the new challenger, Jordan Durston? Head to Twitter now to cast your vote.
Now, back at the ACC in Toronto, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. You can follow us in the league on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, at SBD Shanny. Get in on the conversation using the game hashtag ROC versus TOR. The Rock trailed the Knighthawks 8-5. Rock in their blue, red, and white. Knighthawks white, teal, and purple.
Yeah, in a game that Toronto really hasn't got any offense going.
No.
They're going to want to set the tone early in this fourth quarter, especially if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, especially coming off of that 13-11 win against Saskatchewan. Now, mind you, that's with a bye week in between, and we saw the good off the bye week before, and now maybe it's too much of a break. Oh, and saved by Steele with the Knighthawks right off the transition. So Toronto trying for the fast break. Nick Rose coming way out. He's at the line, Nick Rose.
Very
maneuvering.
Cool and calm.
Wow. Oh, boy. Little Texas two-step there by Nick Rose to get out of trouble.
That shot fooled Matt Vince. That was a long outside shot, and that bounce did go off the crossbar.
You can feel the intensity getting ramped up by the Rock here, knowing they have to press down by 3, and Matt Vince in that Rochester defense has been tough to penetrate. Schreiber stays out of the crease. Had Vince beat again, but couldn't bury it.
That was a really nice play by Schreiber.
Boy, what a game for Schreiber. And you see the contrast of the two U.S. rookies when McCardle's struggling. In this game in particular, he's had a good start to the season, but struggling in Game 3 where Schreiber is excelling.
Well, Schreiber's shown that he could take it to the net, and that play there, his threat of going to the net created a good scoring chance and a good feed. Toronto, again, though, missing the net.
Dan Dawson here on the left wing, moving in close. Sends it back to Resetarits. Oh, and that went off the post.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Both goaltenders getting a break. Tyler Ferreira takes it in front of his own bench. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Rochester. There's Dawson. Little stutter step. Oh, you lost the ball. Knocked free. Nicely done by Casey Behrens. Coming up, breakaway shot, and stoned by Vince.
That was actually Latrell Harris.
Latrell Harris, yes.
Your favorite player of the night is continuing to have a great game for the Toronto Rock. He stole that ball and created that breakaway for himself. The only thing he didn't do was finish it.
Latrell Harris, another great play. And he's, 18 years old, Channing?
Yep.
Man. It's like he's been playing in the league 10 years.
Another 3 years of junior A lacrosse.
Yeah. Wow. Latrell Harris. All right. And an overhand whip there by Josh Courier. Goes wide. Shot clock hits 0. Will be Toronto ball. Damon Edwards scoops up the grounder. Toronto down by 3. Can the offense finally start getting on track? Stefan LeBlanc on the floor, returning here after lower body injury. Schreiber dancing his way in. And Bierns pushed away. McCardle on the right wing. McCardle pressing. LeBlanc right on, and Vince slithers over. Gets his belly in the way to stop it right in the Knighthawks logo. The Rock having some quality opportunities, but Vince just that much better. Now Toronto getting their sticks in the way. Taking away an opportunity from Scott Campbell. And the Rock will try quick here. There's Brody Merrill, the captain. In stride, the bouncer. Another save by Vince. And there's a pass. Well, all alone. Tiptoeing along, and somehow Rose stopped it. He was looking the other way. And he stopped it.
The Toronto player tripped as he was coming on the floor.
Oh.
I looked around to see if there was any Rochester player who did it to him. I think he just tripped on the carpet. That's why Rochester got a clear-cut breakaway.
Good to be lucky, lucky to be good, Nick Rose. He's feeling it now. There's Schreiber. Pressing in. LeBlanc! Shot! Scores! LeBlanc finally breaks through. And Schreiber, the setup man, hands it to him. 6th goal for Toronto.
Well, this is LeBlanc's 3rd shot in the last 2 minutes. And the first one, he didn't get everything behind it. The second one was better. The third one was great for him. Just comes over top. And Schreiber is creating things by driving to the net. Every time he drives to the net, the Rochester defense collapses a bit. And that's creating openings. And he's been doing a good job of finding who's open.
Well, Shanny, that comes from Schreiber showing in this game that he is a scoring threat, not just an outside guy. They weren't respecting that earlier. They have to draw the defense in, and that creates space for LeBlanc, who now is finding his stride after missing some action with a lower body injury.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Schreiber has created that respect that guys have to leave their man to come help.
Oh, you can see that LeBlanc is feeling it right now. Take another shot, missed by inches. 8-6 Rochester up, 10:53 to go. Diving, Turner Evans slides right through. And now Rochester will try to get some control back. Here's the rookie, John Ray. There's Recitaires, gets pushed further into the neutral zone.
Somebody lost a shoe.
Somebody is without a shoe. Through the legs, and Rose spinning around 360. The ball just stood tight. Not sure who is missing the footwear. Gets chucked to the Rochester back.
That was a good throw by the referee.
The referee. Man, with the line drive, spring training's coming up in baseball. Man, might want to look into that. Just over 10 minutes to go in the 4th. McCardle went for the far side and again off the mark. 2 seconds left.
It's a nice rebound.
That makes it a fresh 30. If the Rock can get it back, it's a 2-on-1, and Sid Smith gobbles it up. The returning Andrew Suter, who was an All-Star, Transition Player of the Year in 2012, was such a great force with the Swarm in past years, and is looking to make his presence felt on the Knighthawks, being acquired August 15. Davis to the weak side. That was well off the mark and goes out of play into the Platinums here at the Air Canada Centre. And we will take the break. Rock trail by 2, 9:25 to go in the 4th. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV. The NLL would like to welcome Sports Interaction as an official partner in Canada for the 2017 season. Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Rock streaking in. Off the mark with the bouncer as the Knighthawks still lead 8-6 with 9:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan here at the ACC in Toronto. We saw Stephen LeBlanc break through with his first goal since returning from that lower body injury. And the Knighthawks have been just kind of laying back a little bit here, Shanny. And not there. Well, that'll teach me, not anymore. They get there night. Literally, as I finish saying that, and you have the rookie sensation, Kyle Jackson, popping his second of the evening.
Yeah, and just a nice shot over a screen. And again, it seems like one of those games where Rose is not seeing the ball like he did the last 2 weeks.
Fourth goal of the year for Jackson. He had 12 assists coming in. Was leading the team in points. And this is where, with Cody Jamieson out again, you're looking to rely on some of those rookies. Right off the draw. And that pass, that chemistry, just not there with Bradley Cree and Casey Behrens. And the high face-off percentage, the wins, Cree's been phenomenal, but they've been unable to when they've had the chances to either missing passes or wide shots or whatever the case may be.
You're right.
Frustrating for the Rock. I'll try again here. Whoa, Vince lost sight of it. Caught up in that right shoulder. Rock coming back though. Pass high
There we go again.
Right there. Now they pick up the grounder. See what Hickey can do. Hickey with the lane. Dances in, pushes back out. Lots of time on the shot clock. 16 seconds. Oh, beautiful save by Casey, or by Matt Vince on Casey Behrens. Went with that one touch. Schreiber collides, running into the wall of Ian Lord. Now Scott Campbell in on it. And then Dylan Evans follow the bouncing ball. Rock come up with it in the end. McCardle, and a nice play by McCardle. We've been critical, but give him credit there.
And these guys on defense have played a long time on D.
LeBlanc shot was caught up in the body of rookie John Ray. And here's a chance for Andrew Suter. He'll decide to stand pat in the neutral zone, wait for help. There's Big Dan Dawson. Knighthawks moving the ball well. Dawson on the outside, puts his shoulder down like a running back. And near side wide by Jared Davis for the first goal of this game. From his knees, Rose with the save. Rock are out shooting the Knighthawks by 20, 51-31. Turner Evans here. Out to the line, McCardle trying to drop it for Evans and does. 8 seconds left. Toronto still on the outside. Nobody in front of Vince. Scores! Casey Behrens, usually the one-touch backdoor specialist from the point, plants that foot, and a rocket.
Yeah, you said it. Casey Behrens has been quiet this game, and this is not his typical goal. Nice little scoop pass. McCardle again, driving to the net, scoops it back, and a nice shot by Behrens.
And that's two nice plays by McCardle
Or
in
sorry,
the last couple of minutes.
Sorry, that was Schreiber made the pass. Did I say McCardle?
Oh,
that was Schreiber who made that nice pass. Sorry.
Schreiber, and you know what? That's been Schreiber's MO this season. Again, we've seen him now break out to become, in this one game, Shanny, the evolution of a true double threat, a true dual threat guy, scoring and still with that setup ability.
Well, Schreiber has been involved in every Toronto goal this quarter, so he's got a goal and 2 assists.
Toronto pulls within 2. Coming in with speed. LeBlanc waits, and stoned by Vince. LeBlanc to the slot. And Damon Edwards gets down. There's Brett Hickey with some space. Jump, scores! Brett Hickey! Off the loose ball with the scoop. Overhand hop. The Rock are within 1.
Great effort. If I'm Rochester, I'm throwing the flag anyhow. I think it was a good goal, but yeah, that was it. That was good.
Look at the spin move he put on Sid Smith. That doesn't happen very
Yeah,
often.
he comes out of that corner hard and drives the crease hard.
Man. 4th goal of the game, Every goal this season for Brett Hickey has come against this Rochester team. 7th of the year. Coming up, and another face-off won by the Rock, which allows them to keep the momentum. Can they do something with it? Hostrouser with the toss. So the Rock down by 1, coming on strong late in this game. 6 minutes and 4 seconds to go. 10 to shoot. Turner Evans has to contort his body around. Went for the one touch just behind the Rock player.
They're fighting the ball a little bit there. Mikey McDonald struggling to pick up that ball.
It was an odd man rush. Rock transition and got back though. There's Dawson. And Reston Terrence, and you have Dan Dawson. And we know he can go quiet for periods, but punish you late in games. So clutch. That stick got pushed away for a moment there by Josh Courier. And the Rock bouncer, yep. There's Sandy Chapman. Decides better than trying to split the defense. Bounce pass finds Hostrouser. Kieran McCardle, the rookie. McCardle receives. Clicks with LeBlanc. LeBlanc here. Souls in to the point. Back and that ball gets swatted away. That Rochester defense again. Still no traffic in front of Matt Vince.
Now that was a nice play by Toronto, but again, Rochester, and this time it was Scotty Campbell, gets in the way of the shot.
Campbell coming right back. Trying to get Rose sliding over from right to left. They did, but the shot was off the mark. Racing up the floor. Brody Merrill, another stick. Lomas got in the way and pushed down the Rock captain who's looking for a penalty.
And Rochester is lucky not to get called for too many men, and I think they might be. Oh no, there's a timeout call.
We will take the break. 4:28 to go. The Rock have come back, trail by 1, 9-8. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV.
The National Lacrosse League logo honors its over 30 years of history, but also pushes towards a new era, a new day. An updated colorway of black and silver illuminates the way forward, with technology and innovation as our mandate. The Shield captures the warrior spirit of the physical battle of sport while being modern enough to appeal to new audiences. The goal. By extruding the shape of the shield, the container is one that is a nod to the ubiquitous shape of a lacrosse goal. The original four. 4 arrows representing the founding of our league with 4 professional box lacrosse teams. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, Philadelphia converge to create the NLL Star, a modern interpretation of a star that combines both the arrows of the original 4 teams and a Native American morning star. The 4 arrows converge to create the heart of the star representing the current teams and the fans who are the beacon of the future of the National Lacrosse League. This is the National Lacrosse League. Today is our day.
Back at the ACC here in Toronto. The Rochester Knighthawks lead has shrunk to 1 up on the Toronto Rock. 9-8. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Play blown back in. Shanny, a late update scored New England and Buffalo.
Yeah, 13-12 New England in the last minute of that game. And Rochester did get a penalty on that play for too many men.
So Toronto on the power play where they have had success. Brett Hickey has a pair of goals with the man advantage. Kick save there by Matt Vince. And he smothers the ball. Other action tonight on NLLTV.com. Underway now, Colorado in Calgary. And at 10 o'clock, Georgia against Vancouver. As the Stealth try not to get swept on the weekend. Less than 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
This is a huge point in this game, this penalty kill for Rochester.
And the Rock have to prevent a shorthander here as well. Wide on the stick side. Rochester keeps it though. Ferreira.
Well, they got a reset in that shot. I guess that shot.
It touched, yeah.
Must have touched.
Minute 2 to kill for Rochester. The Knighthawks playing catch around the perimeter.
And
under 10
Dan
seconds.
Dawson just sets big picks.
Yeah. 6'5", moves anybody, creates lanes in space. Doing it for years. So they used up the full 30. Now 40 seconds on the power play for Toronto.
They really used 60 because they took the first 30, got a late shot, got the ball back.
Yeah, you're right. 3 power play goals on the night for Toronto, a pair by Hickey, one by Schreiber. Can Toronto even it up here? There's LeBlanc. That box pinching in. And went Vince, but he had already slid right over.
Schreiber's got to take that shot. Schreiber was in a better position to shoot than any Toronto player there.
Sometimes you can be too generous.
Well, that play to the crease is not fooling Vince.
No, and he was already there.
He's waiting for it.
Yeah, he was right there.
You know, it's not cross floor enough. It's not making him move enough that he's easily able to get there. And I think Schreiber's got to take that shot.
Back to 5-on-5. Courier out of the box. He's the in-home on that too many men penalty. Whoa, and the Rock. That was Hostrauser pushing back, and shot clock hit 0 as the ball was fired in on Rose. Gamble uses hops to bring that ball down.
Really was a bit of a momentum killer, that power play.
Yeah.
Toronto didn't get any good shots.
There's LeBlanc as time is ticking away for the Rock. Under 2 minutes to play. Evans. That low pass went off his foot. Has to reset. 6 seconds to shoot. Toronto's way out. Tried to take it. That's a wild one. And swatted back in so it doesn't get out of him. Mikey McDonald. Nice effort there. But Shane, that's the desperation shot that can cost you if Mikey McDonald was not there.
Yeah, that was a good play by McDonald to put that in the corner to take away any fast break, but we're going to have to watch for Toronto pulling their goaltender on their next possession.
Right, minute 30 left. There's Dan Dawson. Left wing. Drops, draws the defense to him, and Rose with a stick save. Got enough. Okay, we'll keep an eye on Nick Rose, and there he goes to the bench for the extra attacker. A minute 10 left. Stephen LeBlanc receives. Clicks with Evans on the right wing. Dishes to Schreiber with the swim move, but it was wide and trying to go up top.
I thought that went off the goalie. I guess not.
Evans leapt up and put a stick over the glass to try to keep it in play. Under a minute to go. Rose races back in.
Oh, if Dawson didn't have a reach of 7 feet, he wouldn't have got that ball back.
No. But he does. 40 seconds. Toronto pressing and the Knighthawks holding on. Looking for their second win of the season. 30 to go. Dan Dawson hopping out of the way, double team, triple team, and he will drop it into the far corner. 24.1 seconds left.
Yeah, and this time Toronto calls the timeout as soon as they get the ball.
To try to set up a play. So, Shanny, what are you doing here if you're Toronto?
Well, you know, whenever there's a play like this, everybody thinks the ball is supposed to end up in somebody's stick, but it's options. They'd love it to end up in Hickey's stick, but Rochester's going to probably try to take that away from them. Right. So you set up a play with different options, and it depends on how the defense reacts. So, yeah, ultimately you'd like to see Hickey shooting. He's been the hot shooter, but Toronto's got to set up their 6-on-5 play and take what's given to them.
We'll be back here at the Air Canada Centre next Friday, February 3rd, 7:30 start, as Toronto welcomes in the Buffalo Bandits. And, man, we're treated to back-to-back East rivalry games, Rochester, then Buffalo.
You know, one of the best 6-on-5 goals was the Toronto Rock against Rochester, winning a championship back in, I think it was 2000. And the play was to Dan Stroop. Dan Stroop had 5 goals, and everybody knew they wanted to get the ball. Rochester took that away from him, and a rookie named Caleb Toth scored the winning goal to win the championship with 1 second to go.
Wow. 20 seconds left. Net is empty for Toronto. Extra attacker on. There's Evans. Sidearm shot in behind the cage. Vince races behind. 10 seconds left. He will bury it.
Well, that fooled a lot of fans who saw it hit the mesh from the bounce off the backboards. And I guess depending where you were sitting in the ACC, if you just saw the mesh move, you thought Toronto had just scored a goal.
Schreiber with the chance, drops that shoulder and lets it rip. And now it looks like another timeout has been called.
Well, are we getting a penalty here?
Oh.
I don't
Penalty
think.
box is opening.
I don't know if they're just checking how much time is on the clock.
Oh, yeah, I think that might be it. 6.7 seconds left, at least for now. Still lots of action coming the rest of the evening. Colorado at Calgary underway, and then Georgia into Vancouver, 10 o'clock start, all on NLLTV.com.
Well, Rochester should have this ball. And barring a miracle, now Toronto will not put their goalie in that. There's no point. They'll cover everybody. But you've actually got 5 seconds before you have to take it out of the crease.
Right, and they added 3 seconds to the clock, now 9.5 on the game clock.
So Toronto will make sure everyone on the floor is covered, and they will put 2 guys on the ball carrier. Oh, no, he's not starting in the crease. He's starting in the corner. Who's that that's going to get the ball for them?
Zach.
Dylan Evans, their face-off man. And usually this play, you want to give it to somebody with good speed and sure hands.
Yeah.
And he may even pass to Vince.
Jared Davis sends it to Vince just like that. Long pass, 5 seconds. Line drive shot. Somehow finds Dawson. 1, and it is over. The Rochester Knighthawks hold on to defeat the Toronto Rock 9-8. Toronto's first loss of the year. The Rock fall to 2-1. The Knighthawks climb to 500 at 2-2.
Well, that was a big gut check win for the Rochester Knighthawks.
That was huge, and the East becomes ever more interesting now. But Shanny, taking nothing away from the Knighthawks because they earned this victory, and their defense was spectacular. Matt Vince, phenomenal. But the Rock let so many opportunities get away from them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Rock really did nothing 5-on-5 until the fourth quarter.
No.
You know, they scored 3 power play goals. They scored 1 broken play goal. It wasn't until the fourth quarter that they really woke up and played. They entertained the fans. They entertained us. It was a good fourth quarter, but you got to start earlier than that. Yeah, there was, a few bright spots for the Rock, but it was not their best game, that's for sure.
No, yeah, Brett Hickey shined, 4 goals.
Schreiber, another good game. He played very well, particularly in the fourth quarter.
Couple goals for him. And
you said it, though. You got to give credit to Rochester.
Yeah.
You knew they were getting a boost with, all their guys coming back. Dan Dawson, Cody Jamieson, but they lost Cody Jamieson early in the game, and they still managed to win it. Short staff without him, without one of their great leaders. So it was a good game for them, and I like the look of their rookies. I like Kyle Jackson contributed a couple of goals. Courier scored. And, they played a good game. Their defense looked like the defense of the glory days.
Yeah. They did.
And when you have that defense and that goaltender, sometimes you don't need to score a lot of goals. I mean, really, they only scored 9 goals. That's, we were talking about Nick Rose not having one of his better games. That's still only 9 goals against.
In the NLL, if you hold a team to single-digit goals, more often than not, you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And the Rochester Knighthawks held on. And, Shanny, what you said earlier, I think, really rings true with Dan Dawson. Now, Dan Dawson didn't score tonight, but that 6'5", 210-pound frame, you said how he is able to clear lanes, to set those picks, to just create space. And when you add that in, even if he doesn't show up on the box score, that adds so much back in the lineup.
Yeah, and he's such a calming influence on the offense for them. You even see the hand motions when he tells guys to calm down. And I think he's one of those guys too that he does what's needed to be done.
Right.
If they need him to be driving to the net and scoring the goals, he does it. If other guys on the other side of the floor are putting it in, he's fine setting the big picks and pulling defenders away with him.
Very unselfish.
He's a very unselfish team player.
So that will have the Rock again fall to 2-1. The Knighthawks 2-2. The Georgia Swarm still sit atop of the East at 3-0. They'll play Vancouver tonight. Buffalo and New England was wrapping up. We'll see if we can get a final on that to see how the New England Black Wolves, who were on their home opener, just trying desperately, needing that first win. It was 13-12 with a minute left, I believe.
Yeah, I'm checking my score online. It doesn't say it's an official final, but 13-12, with a minute to go. I suspect that New England might have pulled that one off because that hasn't been updated in a little bit.
So 13-12, unofficial. If so, then New England grabs their first win at 1-3, and the Buffalo Bandits would also fall to 1-3. So Buffalo would slip a position, tied for last with New England in the East Division. Georgia, if they can beat the Vancouver Stealth tonight, would be undefeated and go up. Let's see. So they're a game now, so a game and a half on Toronto, and really start to be able to look at putting a stranglehold on this East Division early on.
But you're right that this win for Rochester puts them in the thick of the playoff hunt. I mean,
Sure.
I know it's still early, but for a team that thought, even a week ago, I think a lot of people were writing off the Rochester Knighthawks, and they proved tonight that they're still in the thick of things.
The X factor going forward for the Knighthawks will be the health of Cody Jamieson. Came back, had that beautiful setup. I think it was it to Courier? I think it was on the left side.
You're right.
Just that far from the right to the far left side, and Courier one-tapped it in. He went off shortly after that, and he was coming off of that ACL, had some procedures done in rehab to get back sooner than we thought. We were shocked that he was actually playing. So to keep updated on that, make sure you check out NLL.com and on Twitter at NLL for the updates. Cody Jamieson's one of the most entertaining players in the game, so hopefully he will be back.
Absolutely. Would love to see him back.
So, Shanny, final thoughts here as the Rock fall 9-8 to the Rochester Knighthawks. Again, we will be back here on Friday against Buffalo, where all of a sudden we see the Rock at 2-1. The Bandits fall, if that score is final, to 1-3. So the Bandits will be in desperation mode.
Well, it's funny because Toronto met a team that was in desperation mode tonight. So
yeah,
in this league, and I'm not saying anything that these guys don't already know. Any team can beat you any night.
Oh,
there are no
good.
weak teams, despite the fact that some teams are going a few weeks without winning. There are no weak teams in this league, and if you think there are, you'll be surprised. We saw, defending champions lose their first 2 games this season. So on any given night, it's the team that comes to play and gets the best goaltending and the best efforts from everybody.
So that'll do it for us at the Air Canada Centre. We will see you on Friday, February 3rd at 7:30 here at the Air Canada Centre. You can go, again, to NLLTV.com. Check out Colorado at Calgary underway now, then Georgia and Vancouver at 10 o'clock. So for our producer, Sean Jafar-Najad and Brian Shanahan, I'm Andy McNamara. Rochester Knighthawks win it over the Toronto Rock 9-8. You've been listening and watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV. Good night, Toronto.